From the biggest gigaflu to really sore backs to meeting the most amazing people in the world, and of course, meeting Yoshi P and having chat bubbles confirmed, this is FanFest 2023! I really didn't know what to expect with FanFest 2023. Obviously, I'm basing everything off the cons I've been to in the past. I went to BlizzCon many times. I was at ExileCon recently in New Zealand. And going into FanFest, after watching and hearing about what happened in Las Vegas, I was a little on the fence. Some people coming away saying it was too hot and too miserable, which makes sense for Las Vegas. It's not going to be like that in the UK. And it was very small and compact, and we did get to meet everybody, and it was amazing. It was fantastic. So a little bit of a mixed bag is what came out of the Las Vegas event. Going down to FanFest, obviously, we had a number of things that were going on that I want to clear up. We had a private party, which was for our audience. We'd sold out the building twice over to get everybody in there and have a big meeting because most people were coming in the day before. That went swimmingly, went super, super good. I also arranged for a lot of things for the content creators that were coming, not for selfish reasons as well. I obviously want to meet them, these people that I talk to a hell of a lot and don't get a chance to interact with. They were coming, so we had Zeppler coming over from the US, we had Arthur's coming over from Singapore, we had Zenosis coming over from the US, as well as all the UK content creators and the European content creators, and a bunch of content creators that I'd never seen before. So I had a private dinner with those as well, which we organized, which also went swimmingly. So the lead up into FanFest was a joy, an absolute joy before we even got to the event, is spending all these time with people and just celebrating, having fun with friends from long ago, new friends coming in. Absolutely great. The day of FanFest, so squeenix had reached out to me. So it's always interesting how different companies handle their events and whether they want you there. Now, some people see this as like, you shouldn't get special treatment. I don't expect special treatment. I bought my tickets. I never expect special treatment. I buy my tickets for BlizzCon, etc. But occasionally we do get invited, and there's a reason for that. It's so there's an extra incentive for people to go. Some people might be on the fence. Oh, I want to go to FanFest, but I might not get to see Yoshi P. It's expensive. I can watch it at home. All these things are relevant factors when people are deciding to part with their cash to go to FanFest. And they may, in some cases, have an extra incentive to go if they're like, oh, I get to meet Mike, I get to meet Zeppler, I get to meet Arthur's, those kinds of things. So squeenix did reach out to me like 2 weeks before the event to say, hey, we're doing meet and greets, we're having a mixer, we can get you a media pass, things like that. But I turned it down purely because their meet and greet, which I'm really sad I didn't get to go to, was on the same night as our party, which had been booked for months. And also, we were a large group. I brought down Chris and Nups from our team and my wife, Emma, and Bex. We had the entire team for the first time in, I think, well over a year, was my entire team I work with here in one place at one time. It was not reasonable. They could only get a media pass for me, so it'd be like, I'd go in, and then I'd have to wait for everybody else to get in, and blah, 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 blah. So it didn't make sense. So I just stuck to my purchase ticket with everyone else to go with, and it was perfect. The only thing I missed out on is talking to Alizé's voice actor, Alfie's voice actor, who else was there? Clive from FF14 was there, Ben was there, Jason Charles Miller I didn't get to meet, and a few others that were at this mixer event. But I was throwing the party, so it wasn't like I was having a bad time. When I got to FanFest, the first thing that I noticed, and I knew this before I went actually, is that they had booked a really, really small part of the XL Arena in London. I've done a number of events and conventions at the XL Arena. It's huge, it's absolutely enormous, but they'd only booked a very tiny part of it. And it turns out that this is because they booked it before the pandemic. Like, they'd had this space booked for a while, and because of the pandemic, it had been delayed, and delayed. So they couldn't get any more space. Like, all the other event spaces were filled. So as you know, FanFest 2023 in London sold out like really, really quickly. A lot more people wanted to go than could go, but it was just the way it was going to be. So it was raining when we got there. I got in the queue. Big shout outs to the people who I left Emma and everybody else and went and stood with people with umbrellas who knew who I was. Yes, streamer privilege. And then eventually caught up with them and then got inside the building. We did have to queue outside the building in the rain, but I will say this, although they didn't have pre-registration, if you go to BlizzCon or ExileCon or something like that, they allow you to register and get your actual ticket of entry. like a day or two before. Like BlizzCon allows it for like 3 days before usually. So you can go and do that, and you can pick up like the goodie bag and things like that, and that allows you to take it back to your room, to your hotel, whatever it is, and leave it there so you're not carrying it around all day. They decided to do it on the morning. So the way it worked is you had to queue up on the day from 8 a.m. to register and get in and get a goodie bag, which was really cool. I've got it somewhere nearby. It was a nice little goodie bag. And then the show was starting at like 10:30 or 10 a.m. So they had a couple of hours to process like 4,000 people because they weren't allowing any pre-registration. So I was worried about that a little bit, but also thought I'm not going to queue up for hours. So we didn't show up to the arena till like 8 a.m. when it was already open. And thankfully, I figured if they've got 4,000 people, they're going to process them as fast as possible. And they did. They whizzed through that queue. I think in total, it took like 25 minutes from being near the back of the queue, because I turned up at 8, to be in the building. And fine. And the way they did it actually meant that if you queued really early, you didn't actually get much of an advantage. They put you in like a holding pen. And then near enough the time, then they opened the other doors. So you had thousands of people in like a very large room, but still, you know, feeling relatively cramped at that point. And then they opened the door to let you into the actual event floor properly. Now, this is where there's a lot of positives here. I want to be clear on this. There's a lot of positives, but there is some negatives. There's always negatives with every event I go to. In this one, they did not provide enough seating for all the people, which is a new one on me and absolutely something I did not expect whatsoever. I've never been to a convention that's got a big opening ceremony and things people want to sit and watch that's definitely going to be like at least a couple of hours, that they don't provide seating for those people. They didn't do that here. They had seating for what I would guess was like half the audience, and they were very careful with the camera work on the stream. We've watched it back to avoid showing how many people were standing. And now, as there was a large group of us, we knew we weren't going to get seating altogether, so we went over to the standing area, which was just to the side of the chairs. And now, in total, we ended up stood for like 4.5 hours, because obviously you're starting from the arena, stood in a queue from like 8 a.m., and the show didn't finish till like 12 something. So it was a really long time to be standing. We did get some opportunities to sit on the floor, and most people went and sat on the sides, leaning against the walls and things like that, but it is a hard concrete floor. And then the people who did get seats afterwards told us they gave us the most uncomfortable seats ever. So that was a definite negative, because people were definitely very uncomfortable and, you know, getting sore. If you stand up straight for really too long, you will start having to shift your weight, and your back starts to ache, and all that kind of stuff. And also, look, man, I had a great time, but there's no denying the opening ceremony ran really dry in the middle, and this was a common sentiment that I heard from everybody in the arena who watched it, is the start was fantastic. So many cool announcements in the first 10 minutes. We obviously had the Viper. Yoshi P's entrance on stage was phenomenal. That was all great for like 15 minutes, and then they ran into the Final Fantasy problem, because they divide this opening ceremony up into 3 events, right? We still got Tokyo to go, and they can't really reveal any spoilers whatsoever, is that they don't really have anything to say that's meaty and good for an event and a performance that's like an hour and a half long. It's just, there's just not enough content there for them to do. And then it started to drag, as we well know. As many people are aware of this. So when it started getting into the really technical minutiae of like, here's a building in a jungle, here's the same building but like from slightly further away, all that kind of stuff, a lot of people, and you won't see this on the camera because the sitting people are relatively more comfortable than us, just went for a walk, which I've never seen during an opening ceremony in any event I've been to. Like, it wouldn't happen at BlizzCon, but purely because they have the one event, so it's just action. It's just like meaty all the way through. Like, it's just stuffed full of features. And we compared this to like the zone announcement, right? So for Blizzard's new expansion, which we'll no doubt see at BlizzCon this week, which I'm going to in a couple of days, it'll just be like new zones, and it'll be like 3 seconds of each zone, and then it'll move on, and they'll talk about it in detail later on. But for this, it was like really heavy detail and Lalafell cheeks. So I went for a walk as well. I've never done that before, but I knew, and this is kind of what I'm getting at with this, is I knew that I could go for a walk, go to the bathroom, come back, and I wouldn't miss anything. Which was a bit of a bummer for the opening ceremony. It was a bit of a bummer, but I was absolutely correct. I came out of the bathroom and they were like, and look at the Lalafell cheeks. Like, and it might have come across better on the stream, but in the arena, we had these giant screens and they were relatively far away and you just couldn't tell the difference. And so many people were just looking at each other, like shaking their heads like, what's going on? What is he showing us? And Yoshi P's like, you see? We're like, I don't know what to see. But the final 15 minutes were also amazing. Right, the new job, fantastic. New limited job. We're getting more Blue Mage stuff, the Final Fantasy XI crossover and the Alliance raid. All that stuff was like, yeah. So the hype came back towards the end. And then it went to, no, that was the keynote. Then it went to the opening ceremony. And you could literally hear the groans of people going, wait, there's more? Because people were so ready for a break. Which had all the people come out and introduce themselves and let you know who they were going to be, which is fine. It's just that people were like, I'm so done. And the second it was actually done, it was like, let's start FanFest 2023. Everybody just piled out of the arena, like immediately went to get drinks, went to the bathroom, went to have a walk, went to sit down somewhere. Everybody, just like the flood of people who just left the arena was kind of an astonishing thing to see at the same time. So then once we had a little recoup, came in. I'll admit I spent most of my time meeting and greeting people, which is absolutely why we're there. It's not a business thing to go to these events. I want to see the announcements. I want to be in the presence of these people, and I want to meet and greet as many people as possible. Otherwise, we could just stay home and stream it and do whatever. And the arena they set up was really nice. They had set out so many different environments that were based on the game. So we had the Black Shroud, for example, then we had the Cackpot and the Gold Saucer in one area with tons of mini games based on things around the game. So we had Silky's Roll, so you had Silky's Pom that you could roll down and knock some Skittles over. They had Floor is Lava, so it was like any way the wind blows. And they had people doing stuff the entire event, which was great. One of the key features that I wanted to enjoy was, of course, meeting Yoshi P. And the way they did this was by giving you a registration card with a QR code, and you scanned that code, and then you got to pick who you would like to meet for a one-on-one. Now, the way they did this is they had everybody from Soken, all those people, Soken, Koji, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. But you could only win one, right? So you could put down, like, I want to see Yoshi P, I want to see Soken, I want to see Koji, I want to see all these people, but you could only ever win once. So, obviously, my goal was to meet Yoshi P. So I just put Yoshi P on mine, put it on Emma's, and some people gave me their cards who weren't interested in seeing other people. So we ended up with, like, 13 cards by the end of the day. But didn't win any for the first day. So this was over the 2 days of the event. So you had a chance to meet people on the Saturday. And then if you didn't win them on the Saturday, you could still win a chance to see them on the Sunday. So while I was chit-chatting with people, thankfully Arthurs and Lamatod, two concept creators, came up and said, hey, we're about to go and see Sakaguchi, which is the father of Final Fantasy, and Yoshi P. Do you want to come? And I was like, what? And how? And then Arthurs, God bless his soul, what a man, just goes, it's fine, I know a guy. I'm like, what the hell do you mean you know a guy? He's like, trust. I know a guy. I got this. I'm like, okay, I guess this is happening. So the first person to meet was Sakaguchi. And as we're walking over to the meet and greet area, the security guard was like, yeah, you can't bring this many people in. So the way it works is if you won, you got to get a signature and you could bring a +1 in. And they couldn't get a signature. That's how it worked. So Arthur's just put his hands like on the guy's shoulders. He's like, dude, they know us. It's fine. It's all good. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, no, it's good. It's all good. It's fine. I know a guy. They know us. And the guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but no, you can't bring 2 extra people in. So I was like, it's fine. You know, I'll meet people tomorrow. And as much as I absolutely respect everything Sakaguchi has done, he wasn't my top priority for someone to meet. That's no disrespect to him at all. It's just like out of the list of people I wanted to meet, he wasn't the number 1. So I was like, it's fine, you know, it's fine. He's like, no, it's trust. Turns out Arthur's does know a guy, and the guy's a girl. And this lady staff member came over and took the other security guard away. Went, blah, blah, blah. Yoshi P knows who they are. It's fine. It's all good. We'll sort it out. They won't be a problem. And the guy comes back and says, okay, I guess you're going in. Which was really strange. So we got in the queue, and we were fine until we got near the door. And then I started to sniff. Something was wrong, my friends. Something was wrong. Very well protected. I don't know if something happened in Las Vegas, but it's ultra well protected. So the first thing that happened is somebody came into the queue, one of the staff members, and said, look, just letting you know, there's absolutely no pictures allowed in this room. No selfies, no pictures with Sakaguchi, nothing like that. I was like, okay. I find that a little unusual because some people have really mixed opinions on this, but for me, at least what I deal with, the selfie is the autograph. rather than the actual autograph. Some people collect autographs and have autograph books and want certain things signing, like copies of the game. That's perfect and wonderful. For most people, they want a selfie to say, hey, I was there with this person. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the selfie. I didn't have anything to get signed. Arthur's brought a limited copy of the original Final Fantasy 14, I think he wanted signing by everybody, which was really, really nice. But when we got there, it was like, okay, no selfies, no pictures. Like, cool, that's all right. I just want to say hi and say thank you for your work over the years. That's all I wanted to do. And then we got to the door, and they were like, okay, who's getting the signature? And it's like them. And then it turns to us like, you absolutely cannot get signatures. It's like, I don't want a signature. I couldn't have made it any clearer. I was like, I don't want a signature. Lamatop was the same. I was like, I don't want a signature. I'm like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go up first, Arthur's, and get your things signed or whatever, and the rest of you can say hi. Okay, cool. So we then get shuffled into the room. Arthur's goes on ahead, and you can tell something's happening. Now, Foxclone was in the room as well, and Foxclone was working like security. Sakaguchi, obviously, with Japanese culture and how much they respect their elders and all, and the sort of level of honor that's put onto them, Foxclone was not chatting with people. He was absolutely making sure that Sakaguchi was ultra well protected and everything was running smoothly for him. He was not in a chit-chatty mood. He was just stood there, like, monitoring everything. So that was kind of an interesting environment, and I started to smell something was wrong. Something isn't right here. Like it felt like serious mega security. It was very odd. So I said to Lamatod, because we were stood together, I was like, we need to go together here. And he goes, no, it's fine. So I was like, I'm telling you, man, we need to go together. Something's not right. And Arthur's walks away. So I start approaching, and Lamatod goes, no, you go. So I approach Sakaguchi, and I've not said a word. I want to be absolutely clear in this, because I obviously would never intend any disrespect or anything. I haven't said a word, and Sakaguchi hasn't looked up at me, but he grabs one of these. This is Yoshi P Signature, and several of the art team, but there's Yoshi P Signature. He grabs one of these and just starts signing it, and I literally haven't said anything yet. I'm approaching the table. He hasn't looked up or anything. And a staff member ran over and like snatched it from me as he was like trying to hand it to me. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, you're not allowed a signature. I was like, I don't want a signature. And me being me, I was like, what's happening here? It was like I was being harassed, and they were like, you guys need to leave now. And they totally just like created a fiction that I was trying to get a signature done, which I wasn't trying to do by any means. Sakaguchi's looking at me all confused, because I want to be, again, completely clear. This wasn't Sakaguchi. He was fine. It was literally the staff protecting him in this scenario. So, like, I walked up and he put it on the table. I didn't even reach for it, and this lady ran over and took it and was like, you're not allowed that. And I was like, I don't want that. And it was like, I don't want it. You need to leave now. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I've not done anything. It's like, you need to get out. And I'm like, what? So I turned around. It's like, Mr. Sakaguchi, and like, thank you so much for creating Final Fantasy. It's been such a journey. And he goes, thank you very much. And then it was like, out. And I don't think Lamatov got to say a word. Like, they were just like, out of the building. I was like, oh my God. That was a weird experience. A weird experience for a fan interaction, to say the least. But then it was time for Yoshi P. Because he was immediately after Sakaguchi. So we came back out and got back in, but there was a new staff member now, and the staff member was not having any of it at all. They were like, no, this is Yoshi P. There is no schemazzing the queue, because apparently that was a massive thing in Las Vegas, right? It was a huge thing. Like, you're not getting in. I was like, dude, you two have come together, Llama and Arthur's. It's like, you guys are good. I will be fine. I'll probably get to see him tomorrow, or something, you know, I can make something happen tomorrow, maybe. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. So I left the queue because this person was clearly like anxious. Like whatever drilling the handlers is what they're called, I'd had backstage before this event must have been serious. It must have been like no messing about. We're not having it like Las Vegas, because you know there was so many stories of people sneaking in and going in or going in with like +4. We're not having any of it. Yoshi P was probably over time, right? It's all about time with Yoshi P. Everybody wants to see him, and he's got places to be. It's as simple as that. He can't just hang around for like 3 hours meeting people. I totally understand it. So I was like, okay, I'll just get out the queue. As I get out, a guy asked me for a selfie. Emma was talking to somebody nearby, and he's like, oh, he's waiting to get a selfie with you. I was like, cool, let's get a picture. And I was like, what are you up to? He's like, oh, my wife's in the queue. And I'm like, what? What's she doing? He's like, oh, she's meeting Yoshi P. She wants to meet Yoshi P. And I was like, okay, is she on her own? And he goes, yeah. Oh, can I go with your wife? And he goes, guess. I don't see a problem with that. I was like, go and ask her if it's okay. So he goes, he went and approached his wife, what an absolutely amazing, lovely woman who turned, and she knew who I was. She was like, okay, our preacher's here. And she goes, yeah, you can come in. Totally fine. So I got ahead of Arthur's and Llama. I turned around and gave him a load of shit. And then Jordan, OK Mage, and Daisy were also queuing to get in. I was like, I'm like next in. And I had some pictures with people there and had a great time. What an absolutely amazing experience. And then the same thing happened again. No pictures with Yoshi P. But what they did is the back door to get out, because they had like an in and then you went out a different way, was wide open. So people were all stood at the back, you know, friends of people. We're all just taking pictures through the doorway, which is how we got our pictures with Yoshi P. And so you didn't get a selfie with Yoshi P, but there was loads of pictures of what was going on. And this is where you get to a sinister twist. So I went in and Yoshi P goes, oh, hey, I'm so glad you came. Like, knew who I was. He was like, oh, what's up? Said hello, which was awesome. I was like, hey, man. I was like, look, I've just got to ask you one question, Yoshi P. Can we have chat bubbles? And it turns out Yoshi P, you'll see this from the pictures that were taken of me talking to Yoshi P, because obviously a lot of people were taking pictures of me talking to him. You'll see the story unfold here as to how this went down. So first of all, he didn't know what chat bubbles were. Like, that's not what they're called in Japan. So he went, chat bubble? Like that? He like looks at me at chat bubble. And then the translator came over to me and went, he doesn't know what you mean by chat bubbles. So you can see the picture. I'm like, okay. So it's when the chat appears above your head and then you can see him go, ah. He knew immediately. And you can see the artist, I forget his name, I'm really sorry, but he's like one of the lead artists on the game. And he goes, because this is obviously something they've been talking about internally, like, and they knew it was coming. He goes, and he goes, yeah. He's like umming and ahhing about it. And he goes, okay, yeah, I don't know, like that. And then he obviously, then I was like, okay, that's cool. I was like, hey, lovely to meet you. Hopefully I'll see you again later and we can have a real chat. And he's like, cool, that's awesome. I would love to talk to you. And then I moved on to get it was getting this signed. So I moved on to get the other signatures. But then he's thinking about it and he goes, so I want to be clear to the people who are like doubting this is how this went down. He grabs his translator before the next person can come in and calls me back. And he's like, getting back. So I'll come back and he just said this. He went, look, I can't tell you when they're coming, but it's not 7.0, but they are coming. And I went, my man. It's like, they are coming. And a lot of people I've told this story on stream, so a lot of people are asking, like, what does he mean by that? Is he trying to fob you off? No, he called me back specifically to tell me that. But the other thing was that we talked about is like, they're probably really worried about the implementation. It's not just a case of making them activate. It's like, some people want them, some people don't. Are they toggleable? How will this affect raiding? Do they have to be disabled in certain areas? There's a lot of things that they need to manage before they implement them. But like, he called me back to confirm them. So I'll take that. That's a win on me. That's a W as far as I'm concerned on the situation. So I went back out and then people were like, hey, I've got pictures of them. I'll send them to you. I got pictures of you talking to Yoshi P. They're really good. I was like, cool, awesome. And then went about the rest of the day. I'd been working nonstop then for like 3 days straight by that point, and I never sat down or ate on the actual day of FanFest till like 6 p.m. And I was in a lot of like actual physical pain by that point because I'd been stood up literally nonstop for 3 days. We had a horrible train journey in where we didn't get to sit down, and that got delayed for there was like a 4-hour train ride, blah, 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 blah. And by that point, I was in a pretty sore shape, like from standing up. I'd been doing pictures and stuff all day with no chance to sit down or eat or anything. So it got to 6 o'clock and I was like, I could do with going getting something to eat somewhere with Emma and maybe just sitting down for a bit. Like, my back's killing me. My back and my leg is killing me. So it was like, cool. Emma hadn't really seen me all day either because we'd just been doing pictures and stuff. So it was like, awesome, let's go have a couple of hours together. So I did not go to the piano concert, but several members of my team did. I'm sure Chris can put something over here to say how awesome it was, because that's all I heard afterwards was like, it was incredible, it was good. I wanted to make sure we were good for the primals and for the final day. So going into the final day, there were some panels I wanted to see, but I didn't get a chance to see them because I was meeting people all day, and I was entering the cosplay competition. So this was a stream incentivized moment. They voted for me to enter the cosplay competition on the stage and be Tataru. Gotta be Tataru. Gotta get her on stage. So that morning, it was all about dressing up as Tataru, getting that ready, and heading down to the event, which, honestly, unsurprisingly, I got to play a couple of the games, which was super fun. I got to play the archery, got to go around the Black Shroud a little bit and play some stuff there with the members of the team. But after that, obviously, going around as Tataru, people wanted pictures and stuff. And then everybody was in full cosplay, so I was taking pictures with people, like, not just because they were asking me, I was like, I need a picture with you. Like, I need to spend some time with you, because this is, your cosplay is phenomenal. Like, the level of cosplay that was on show was absolutely tremendous. It was so good. So did that for half the day and then entered the cosplay competition, which I know many of you saw. What a joyous experience. So fun. We were penned up for like an hour and change, like an hour and 15 before the competition started. They were very, very, very well organized. Got to give massive shout outs to the staff here for such good organization for the competition, and had a great time. Went up with some of the crawlers, went up with Chris. His wonderful Namazu costume that he built himself was a highlight of the show. People were taking pictures of it everywhere. It's now a meme in Japan, that picture. And then got to go up on the stage and do a wah and do all that kind of stuff and have fun. The crowd cheered so well when we came out to do that little piece of competition. Lots of streamer reacts and stuff, but it was just so fun. It was such an enjoyable experience. I would happily do it again to take part in that competition.
Hello, Tataru! And a Namazu, Warrior of Light, and a Hyphodeus! Wow. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Namazu. It's too good.
And obviously be around all the other cosplayers and the sheer effort. My favorite was the end singer. It didn't come quite as good across on stage. My top two were the end singer and Suyu. Not just because Suyu, but the cosplay. We'll put the link down below because she was amazing. She had multiple cosplays the last couple of days. She was just such artistry and such delicate work. Emma was so jealous of her dress that she had made. It was just a phenomenal experience. Like, it was so good. And meeting those people was great. And so going out and experiencing that was the first time for me. Obviously, I've seen a lot of cosplayers, but never took part myself. Mine was the amateur hour content. A lot of people, I felt bad. A lot of people were like, oh, your costume's great. I'm like, it's not. Chris ordered all of this off Amazon. Like, it's just literally off Amazon. It's like kids' toys and stuff. And I left one of the braces. I found it now. It was actually on the doorstep when I got home. So I didn't have everything. I left my brown pants. So I went to Tesco at 5:30 a.m. that morning to try and find some brown pants to go with the costume, but they don't sell brown pants, shockingly. So it was a bit of a half-assed one, but it was what we had, and it worked, and people got a kick out of it. I had the cigar and the things like that, which they wouldn't let me use on stage. But what a wonderful experience that was. And coming out of that, I got to spend some more time with some more people before the event closed, but I obviously was like, a little apologies because I had a queue of maybe like another 30 or 40 people to take pictures with, but I had to be in a taxi to go and get changed for the primals because I was not missing the primals. So I was like speed run through. Everybody's like, sorry dudes, but we're back in like an hour or so and I've got all night. We can chit chat then. But I've got to get in this taxi to go back to the hotel because we were staying in an Airbnb as a whole team. So we were a little further away and then come back. I went and got changed, and now it was time for the primals, which was just an experience. So good. It made me regret not knowing all the lyrics to every single song, because the people who did around me were just like on another level than even I was. I had the best time listening to it. I knew every song that was played, but I didn't know all the lyrics with, you know, the crowd chanting and all that kind of stuff. Was extraordinary. So listening to the primals was awesome. And then we had an after party at a local hotel where people were just walking past and seeing people like Gingy and stuff, and they're like, what the hell is going on? I was like, come on in, have a drink, and turn that into a wonderful thing. Any other negatives? So overall, the event was fantastic. The closing ceremony, Yoshi P's final speech, magnificent. It was wonderful to meet him. Yeah, well worth it. Well worth it. I don't think there's going to be one for a couple of years because they usually time in with expansions. But overall, it was just a phenomenal experience. The only other negative I think is worth bringing up is the merchandise. Beyond the seating stuff at the start, and again, the seating isn't a big deal because it was like the first 4 hours of a 2-day event. Like, it passed into the mist. It's just something that should be resolved, I think. Is the merch situation. People love coming back with a piece of memorabilia from these events. And you do get the goodie bag, but very quickly they appeared on eBay and stuff of people buying them. And what people really wanted was some of the nicer merchandise that was on sale at the event. I think they opened the merch stall on day 1 at 10 a.m. or no. Yeah, something like that. And it was fully closed by 10:30. Unlock. Unlock, something like that. It closed ridiculously quickly, and because the way they do it is like a ticket or something, and you had to come back at a certain time and queue up and get in. And people were obviously relatively annoyed by this, and they also didn't stop people from buying loads of the same thing. So they were doing these really cool RGB glow sticks. People obviously wanted. They were one of the cheaper items, but they were also stood out for like the Primals concerts and stuff. But people were buying like 20 of them. And they weren't stopping people doing that. Typically at BlizzCon and ExileCon and things like that, they do limit how much you can buy because they don't want people buying all this merch to then just resell later on. So they limit you to like, you're allowed 2 of this and 3 of this, and that's about it. But they didn't do that here. The big seller, of course, was the reversible jackets you've no doubt seen Yoshi P wearing on the live letters. And what I found out is when I turned up on the following morning for the second day is there were people there who had been queuing since 4 a.m. They weren't going to miss out on it again. But, and I believe in this is what I got told, is they only actually had 1 jacket left in stock. And people had been queuing all night for when the merch opened because of what had happened the first day. And most of them wanted that jacket. They queued all night for that jacket, and nobody had informed them there's like 1 left, or somebody had come out or put a sign up saying, look, there's literally 1 jacket available, so if you're here queuing for this, it's a waste of time. And as soon as it actually opened at 8 a.m., right, so they got up at like 2 a.m., got down to the event, and then queued up for 4 hours. When it opened, the first person just bought the jacket, and then unlucky. Unlucky. And then it sold out again within like half an hour, like you couldn't buy any more merch. And there were a lot of very annoyed people who were like, I just wanted to pick up like an Asian mask or, you know, one of these. They were selling the Quez. Yeah, they were selling a Quez. But you just couldn't get in to get it. It's as simple as that. Like, there was just no way of doing it. And a lot of people were very annoyed about that. Either they do... I'm not sure why they don't do it like how other events do it. You can, like at BlizzCon, you can queue, or you can order it online for a pickup later. You can like book it through the app and go and pick it up at some point, right? They organize it that way. That needs resolving, like something like that, because it's only 4,000 people. It's not exactly a big deal. So it was strange that the merch was such a gripe amongst people who were there. It's like, I just can't get anything. Like, people just zerged it, or I can't be here at 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning to queue up for this stuff. Like, it's just not realistic. So that was a bit of a bummer. But overall, a phenomenal event. And now, obviously, people keep asking me to compare BlizzCon to FanFest. Very hard to do that because they're so different. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is... FanFest is about one specific game. BlizzCon isn't. It's, you know, it's about 5 or 6 different games. It's more about the company than anything else. And everybody's just in that world of that environment and has that same mentality that you'd find in FF14, you know? Like, the community was so welcome and so open. FanFest, at least at this one, was about a 9th. I mean, genuinely, like a 9th the time of BlizzCon, if not like a 12th. It's tiny comparatively. It's like 30,000 people who go to BlizzCon. And it's across multiple buildings with all different things going on, with multiple arenas in it. Where there's like the Overwatch arena, and there's the MDI arena, and then there's this arena, and there's that arena. And people at BlizzCon are kind of shuffling between areas. It's like, okay, they need like 3,000 people into the Overwatch arena, and now we need 3,000 people over here, and then this event's happening, and that panel's happening over there. There's a lot of people constantly shuffling around places, whereas FanFest was much more like a circus. Right? It was like a circus with lots of little stalls and events and things going on with like mini games and bracelet crafting, fishing going on over there. All these people just sort of drifting and milling, much more like a Limsa feel, who just wherever they happen to be heading, wherever the way the wind blows, literally like that. Whereas BlizzCon, it's much more targeted and strategic. But BlizzCon this year is going to be very different. So I'm going tomorrow. I leave tomorrow as of recording this. To BlizzCon, so I can do a better comparison when I get back, alright? So those are my thoughts on this event. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.